Hey you guys, welcome back to Ramon at Home. I'm so excited you're here today because in today's video, I'm going to share with you spring decorating ideas, tips, and hacks and how to decorate your home for spring this year. I'm super excited to bring you new ideas every Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I really hope that you are enjoying this spring season. I've been having a blast sharing it with you. In today's video, I'm gonna share with you a mantelpiece, spring wreath. We're gonna do some tabletop ideas and so many more spring DIYs that I really think you're going to enjoy. But before we do that, I want to remind you that I'm going to put a QR code right here. My tongue just got twisted. A QR code right here so you can snap it and follow me on my Instagram and on TikTok so you guys can see daily content. Without any further ado, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, and if you are already subscribed, don't forget to turn this notification bell on so you are notified about every single update here on the YouTube channel. Are you guys ready? Let's get started. Okay, so for this home decorating idea for your mantle, we're going to do something beautiful, extravagant, and I really think you're going to like it. These are the same steps that I will use to create something beautiful for a wedding, a baby shower, or like I just said, just the mantle. And we're gonna be using our frogs that we've used on our lantern and also on our centerpiece. If you have not seen the frog centerpiece and the lantern with the frog, I'm going to link those down below so you guys can catch up with those as well. But I figured that today, in order to tie it all together, we're going to put together a mantle piece. I'm gonna put this down right here. So what we're going to use is some of these beautiful frogs, and I'm gonna set it over here because we're gonna work also with these blocks of foam that I tied into a piece of wood that I'm going to add over here to my mantle. So I'm gonna put one right here, and then I'm going to add one over here. So I want them to be able to have my frog, but of course we're going to dress this up more, but that's kind of like the idea for it. So let's get started. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna put one right here on the left, one on the right about there. And the easiest way to do this is just to grab a block of foam, put a piece of wood so it has weight, and then put some florist tape. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start greening my foam. So remember, what happens on the left happens on the right. And I do want to give me permission to have my frogs. Remember that the frogs have to sit in them. You know what, and I think it's probably best if we put them up there now. And I want one to sit looking, I want them to be a little entertaining. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna give them a little bit of character by probably making them sit like this, not both of them forward, but one kind of like having a conversation with the other one. Remember, that's Lily and this is Lawrence. We decided that his name was going to be Lawrence because that's the town where I used to live when I lived in Kansas, and I just thought that you guys were so genius with all of the ideas for names for a little male frog. But I did pick Lawrence because it reminded me, like I said, of that town where I lived. So what I'm trying to achieve right here is to cover some of my foam. And I'm going to go ahead and put it like this. We have to cover as much as we can with this particular palm. Remember when I took you to Hobby Lobby on that shopping trip, I told you that this is my favorite greenery to work with because look, you don't even need much, and it really does cover a lot of your foam with not a lot of foliage. It is so thick and it's so beautiful, and I just love it. So we're going to go like this, and then I want to make sure that I put some also on the back so they look like they're sitting basically on some lily pads. And then also, of course, we're gonna have some other foliages to come in. So remember, what happens on the left happens on the right, and what goes up must come down. So we want to make sure that also we cover some of this wood, as you guys can see right here. I'm gonna go ahead and put him like that. I'm gonna put this guy right about here, and then this right here. And so that covers some of our wood, and that gave us the foundation for our mantle piece. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring some of these longer foliages from Walmart, and I want them to cascade going down. So I'm going to add this guy right about here, like that. I want it to go all the way down, and then I want a smaller one to go up like this. Look how fun that is. It just brings it forward and it amplifies the volume of it. And so that's what we're looking for. I'm gonna do the exact same thing over on this side. So I'm gonna bring this guy right here, like that. I want it to drape all the way down. I want it to be very dramatic. And then I'm gonna bring this guy right here to sit right by Lawrence, and that also is gonna give us the height up. So now I'm gonna look for some little ones because we want to make sure that it spills forward both ways. So basically they are sitting on some paths of greenery somewhere on the marsh. I make stories in my mind when I'm decorating like this that, you know, Lawrence and Lily are somewhere in the marsh and they are just having a good old time. And so I'm gonna add one right here to this side to elongate, and then I'm gonna go immediately to the other side. If you guys been following the channel, you know that as soon as you put something on one side, in order to balance it, you have to go over to the other side. And so the last ones I'm going to do kind of facing forward this way, and then I'm gonna bring this one over on this side. All right, so far we've added our little frogs. We have all of our greenery. So now I'm gonna go get some flowers ready and I'll be right back to give you the next step. Keep watching. Okay, so for my flowers, I'm gonna use some of the dogwood that I have been using on those arrangements, and then also some hydrangea in blue and then in white. And I'm going to divide it, so I have 3 blue hydrangeas. Remember, when you only have sets of 2, 3s, and 1s, then we have to add sets of 2 on one side and 1 on one side. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add this tall one on this side right here. I'm gonna give it to Lily because she's the lady of the house. I'm gonna use 2. So I'm gonna do more like this. 2, and then I'm gonna add one right here. And so you see, even though I did sets of 2s and 1, I still clumped them together to create that triangle with the same flower. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring my white hydrangea, which I have right here. Of that, I do have plenty to divide in all of the arrangement. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one right here to kind of cover, and then I'm going to go behind this guy to kind of support him. And then I'm going to add over to this side. So that's a set of 3, and then I had a blue one. So for this one, I'm only going to use a set of 2 white hydrangeas. So I'm gonna use one right here, and then I'm going to add the other one right here. Actually, I'm gonna do the 3, but kind of clump them together. See how they are similar, but they're not completely alike, and that is what I want. So that's what gives us balance versus symmetry. Balance is when you have the exact same items on both sides used differently, to where symmetry would be, if we cut this in half, it would be mirror image. So we are looking more for a balance than symmetry on this particular arrangement. Okay, so now I do have 2 of these beautiful white peonies. And so you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna add them both like this, one facing that way, and of course the other one facing this way. I don't have to add them, but since I already have them, why not? All right, so now what I have is some of these beautiful dogwood, and I just want some little pieces because I don't want to overwhelm them. So what I do want is for it to come out of this guy right here. So I'm gonna go immediately over to this side. I do have to grab a longer one, so it kind of comes out of the same spot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab a big one right here, and I'm gonna add it like that. And so I'm gonna do the same for Lily, because we agree she's Lily, this is Lawrence. And so I'm going to do the same for Lily, so they kind of have the same curvature right here, like that. And so now I need to come forward from her belly like this. And I'm gonna do the same for Lawrence right here. And I'm gonna do one right here. And see how that's just creating, this is so cute. It's creating the balance that I need. Another one from there. I'm gonna do some from behind. And never forget to go behind the arrangement, because that's what's gonna give us focal point all throughout the arrangement versus just having focal point in one area. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring one for Lawrence over here on this side. And it is so important that you have good foam, because as you guys can see, I don't even have to poke really that hard because the foam is really good quality. It's the Oasis foam, and it really just holds all my arrangement. All right, so let me see. I'm gonna add one of the big ones right here so that we can elongate the shape all the way down. And then I'm going to go over to this side, and I'm gonna do the same right there. How absolutely adorable is this, you guys? I'm gonna add another one right here, making sure that she goes in. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing over on this side. So it is very important that I keep repeating what happens on the left happens to the right, what happens on the left happens on the right. What goes up must come down, what goes up must come down, because that's what's gonna give you the perfect balance on your arrangement. All right, so I'm gonna add one more right here and one more over on this side. So here we are, our mantle looks absolutely gorgeous and summer ready with these little cutie patooties, Lily and Lawrence. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed this DIY as much as I did, putting together these lily pads so that my little froggy friends can sit in. And as you guys can see, it really is super elegant, super summery, and super simple to make. I really hope that you will give it a try, whether it's for your mantle in your home, a baby shower, or even if you take the frogs out, it is perfect for a wedding. But I really hope that you are enjoying this home decorating ideas 4 series, and I cannot wait to come back with the next topic. But meanwhile, I'm going to let you know that if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know what was your favorite part. And I cannot wait to enjoy this mantle for the next few months. Wasn't that absolutely gorgeous? You guys, you too can create a beautiful mantlescape for your home this spring season, just following the simple, easy steps. Now I'm going to share with you some tabletop ideas on how to set up your beautiful tablescape this spring and summer. Let's take a look. All right, so now that I have all of my tapers here and I have given them a good clean, they're made out of crystal, and I just had them in store. I haven't used them since Christmas. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my moss, and you guys know that I like to have a little bit of a separation between the actual candle holder and then also the taper. And then I like to make it look wild like this because it really gives it that more organic look and like a little bit less formal, and I just think that it brings so much character to my table. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna stick them like this. Let's do one more because I love the way this looks. And I have 5 here, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do 3 on one side and 2 on the other, continuing with the 3 2s and 1 set. So let me finish this and I will give you a full look of our tablescape all set up, and I really hope you like it. To set a beautiful tablescape, I like to start with a beautiful charger, and I love this wicker charger. I've had it for a few years and it came from a local store called Nail Hills when I lived in Kansas. So I'm gonna lay that down. And if you've been following the channel, you know that I like to use a white dish because it really is the perfect base to pop every other color from your dish stack. As you will see with the napkins that I found at my local thrift store, and by the way, can you guys believe they were only 99 cents? That's impressive. That really pops from the white. And what's gonna happen is when I add this statement dish, and this is a statement dish because it has a beautiful pattern. These are the dishes from my childhood. My mother broke her china and gave us all children a set of 4. So I have a set of 4 of this beautiful pattern, and it has a gold rim on the outer edge, and it goes well with the purple napkin. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna introduce my goblet, and I'm gonna do a purple one, and then I'm going to add a gold rim, beautiful, another thrift store find. Can you guys believe this? We're at a thrift store, and the gold really picks up from the gold on the dish. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna set the flatware, and remember the spoon and knife have 5 letters like the word right, and fork has 4 letters like the word left. And if you remember that, you'll always set a beautiful table. If you've been following this channel, you know that setting a gorgeous tablescape is one of my favorite things to do, and I really hope that you enjoyed these few ideas that I share with you. And now I want to take a second to invite you to come and join me on TikTok and on Instagram for daily activity. I really think you guys are going to enjoy it. You know how I'm always telling you that the very first time you get to make an impression is at the door. So now I'm going to share a gorgeous wreath DIY that is super simple. I really think you're gonna like it. Let's take a look. Okay, you guys, so you've seen me do this trick before to where I find a little piece of block of foam like this and I cut the corners so that way I can make kind of like a circle like this. It really doesn't have to be a circle. It just has to be shaped down to where you can attach it to our wreath form right here. Now remember, I bought this during the spring and I told you that we were going to use it all throughout the year because that is a way to save some money. So now what I'm going to is I'm gonna grab some of this burlap ribbon and I'm gonna add just like this, and never forget to dovetail. You know that if you've been following the channel for a while, I just tell you that if I come to your house and your ribbons are not dovetailed, most likely I'm gonna grab a pair of scissors and I'm going to ask you to let me dovetail them for you. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab right here, I'm gonna put my wreath right here and I'm gonna attach really tight like this. And what I'm going to is I'm gonna grab this foam and I'm going to add a little dab of glue right here just in the middle to attach where my ribbon is right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna open it up like this and make sure that the glue goes in it. And then I'm going to grab this and I'm going to attach and tie really tight my foam, as tight as you can, like that. And so this is gonna serve to attach the bow later, so I'm gonna leave it right there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to green our piece of foam right here. And for that, I'm just gonna grab some random pieces of greenery because we want to hide the mechanics. But remember, what happens on the left happens on the right, and what goes up must come down, and just continue to touch every single corner of your foam because you want to hide the foam. You don't want it to be very visible to the eye. And we're gonna be adding other florals. So just be generous with it and make sure that you cover as much as you can. Sometimes it's impossible to cover all of it, but just as much as you can so that foam is not visible to the eye when you get close to the door. I'm super excited to bring you guys brand new home decorating ideas for summer. Can you believe we're talking about summer already? And right after this, it's fall, which is my favorite time of the year. You guys know that I love to do some fall decorating, and I'm super, super excited about fall. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of these really pretty ferns that I have from other projects. And with this, I'm gonna start elongating the shape of my wreath. So look, it's going to bring it back out this way. And then we're gonna go, what happens on the right, happens on the left immediately. And then what goes down must come up, or what goes up must come down. So I'm gonna add that, that's gonna give us some more height. And then I'm gonna add another one right here. And then also make sure that you spill them forward because that's what creates more dimension when you get close to the door. So I want it to really be airy. And so to continue that airiness, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of these really pretty hanging, I think this is wisteria. And I'm gonna do one right here in the front. Remember, we want it to come forward like this. And then I'm going to grab one, I'm gonna put it right here to the side, like this. And I'm gonna add another one over to this side. And some of them are longer, some of them are shorter, that's fine. Remember, it does not have to be perfect, but it does have to be balanced. And the way we do that is by keeping in mind that what happens on the left happens on the right, and what goes up must come down. See how beautiful that is? It is not, it's more asymmetrical, and I just absolutely love it. I wish that I could put this like this. You know what, I'm going to do it, but first I'm gonna tie the bow. I'm gonna leave this one at the end because I want it to be very dramatic, but first I have to make my bow. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do maybe a 3-loop bow with this guy right here. And this is a silk ribbon with a wire, but the silk is very thin, so you have to make sure that these loops are not too big, because if they're too big, then they're going to flop too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another one right here, and then I'm going to add a third one right here, and then I'm going to grab one of my trusty wires, and I'm going to attach all of this. And I usually tell you to tape your wire, but because this ribbon is so thin, I want to make sure that they're really tight like this. See how it's kind of droopy and kind of feminine looking. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring my bow right here, and I'm going to unattach this from the back, and I'm going to push all the way back really, really tight to make sure that my bow stays there. And how cute is this, you guys? So now I can add my last piece right here, which is going to be drooping down. Look how dramatic this is. I also love, and it's just a few branches that really does create that drama. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring some of these beautiful white peonies, and I wanna tie them really tight right here. And that's what's so important, to have that foam on your wreath. Look what that does. It's going to ground that bow. So I'm gonna make sure that it goes on the foam. Remember, if you're making this permanent, if you live in a place where it's so windy, all you have to do is add a little dab of glue to your stem and then poke that onto your foam, and that's going to make it stay permanent, and that no wind is going to come and disturb. How pretty that is. It really does create that focal point right here. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add some of the yellow dahlias, because remember, this is our accent color, and that's kind of like the theme for these DIYs, to be a little bit more summery and a little bit more fresh looking. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start right here on the top, and I'm gonna look for my foam. At this point, you kind of have to feel for it and just make sure that it does go. There you go. Which, if you know me, you know that one of my favorite sounds is that when that foam just pokes like that. Look at that. It just adds that beautiful statement yellow. And I'm gonna give it a little curvature like this to kind of tie in. I'm gonna look for my foam like that. And I have a few left, and look what I'm going to do. I'm gonna give you a little tip. So you're gonna grab yourself a skewer, cut it in half. Then we're going to get our florist tape. And because these are really short, what I want is to make them longer so they spill out further out. So what you do is you grab your skewer like this, and then you grab your florist tape. Remember, this florist tape, you can find it at Walmart, you can find it at Hobby Lobby, you can find it anywhere where florist supplies are sold, because it says florist supply. And then what you do is you tie them together, and then you basically cover that, and it gives you a longer stem. And now you can play with the head. See, it gives you a longer stem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this flower all the way up here. I need to look for my foam, making sure that it goes on the foam like that. And see how it gives me that more air to my flower. And this guy, I'll adjust him when it's at the door. And then I'm gonna do another one right here. So basically just put them together like this, and with your florist tape, putting it right here on your small finger. What you need to do is just pull that. So when you pull on it, it becomes tacky. It has this wax, right? And it just makes it tacky. And so now you have a longer stem, and look, you can just play with it. And so this one I'm going to add up here to the top to kind of fill in. And then I want one to come down from the bottom. So for that, I'm going to grab yet another skewer. And this I'm going to do, let's see, how long do I want it? Yeah, probably this long. It's gonna be so much fun. Watch this. So you grab your tape, and then you tie them together like this. And you wanna make sure that you cover all of it, because brown is like the stem color. And if you don't do that, then it's going to look out of whack. And then basically I'm going to bend that like that. And look how fun this is going to be. I'm gonna look for my foam right here. And then I'm going to poke right here all the way up, and see how that allows me to have a longer flower that goes all the way down. How fun is that? It's like a garden. It is so pretty. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna find some of these lemons, and what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add a little dab of glue right here, and then you want to insert that into the hole, and you grab your lemon and then you poke it right there. Look at that. You don't even have to do much, but you do want to make sure that that foam has some glue so it holds your stick and is not going to move. I'm going to add sets of 2s, 3s, and 1s. So I'm going to add 2 together right here. Look how fun that is, you guys. It is so simple to make. And then I'm going to add one right here on the top, right there where my foam is. And then, so that's 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to do, oh, actually I only have 2. So 3, 2, and 1. Add a little glue right there. I'm gonna lift up my bow, and I'm going to insert my lemon right here where my foam is, going down like that. And you know what, I thought it'd be fun if there was a lemon right here. So for that, I'm going to need a longer skewer. So I'm going to grab a skewer, and then I'm going to, first of all, cover it on that tape because I want it to look like a stem, right? So I'm going to cover this. Are you guys having fun? Thumbs up to this video if you are having fun. I'm having a blast sharing with you guys all of these secrets on DIYs, and then also how to decorate your house for summer. And you know the fall is my favorite, so that's coming up. But wait, let's focus on summer for right now. We still have 4th of July and some other events. All right, so I'm going to now poke this guy right here. Make sure that it goes a little further than the flower, but look. How fun is that, you guys? It adds that black and white, this really beautiful air. And I have some of this lilac, but you know what? I'm thinking that I don't even really think I need it. Let's see. Let me see if I can add. Will you even see it? If I, you know what did you do? So I'm gonna add some of this lilac just to give it a little bit more air to the wreath. And look at that. It also helps to extend the shape. All you have to do is give it a try. All I'm asking you is to just give it a try, to get creative, and to try something different that you probably didn't think you could do it. You guys, if I can do it, let me tell you, so can you. Let me encourage you to be able to create some beautiful items in your home. All right, you guys, so this is the beautiful summer wreath, and I am just so obsessed with it. How it goes all the way down on the door, and just all the greenery and that little pop of yellow up on the top with a black and white ribbon. It really is so beautiful, and I really hope that you will give it a try. All you need is some lemons, some yellow flowers, and some beautiful white flowers with I used a black and white ribbon, but it can be of your choice. Don't be just you know, stuck on the fact that I used that, but just give it yourself a twist. If you have a burlap ribbon, this would also look beautiful with a burlap ribbon. So it is so dramatic when you first come into the door, and I'm just absolutely in love with it. I cannot wait to read your comments, so leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think about this beautiful summer fresh looking ribbon. Wasn't that super easy? I know that if I can do it, so can you. All you have to do is follow the instructions in this video, and you too can create a gorgeous spring wreath DIY with a French theme I know you're going to love. All right, you guys, so now I'm gonna take you into the studio, and I'm going to share with you how to create the most beautiful orchid arrangement and a few easy steps. Let's take a look. All right, everyone, so I'm gonna try and be as quick as possible putting this beautiful orchid arrangement together, and for that we're going to need the super large blue and white container that I found at Home Goods. And let me tell you, there's, at least to me, nothing more beautiful than blue and white orchids. And so that's what we're going to do today. And then what we're going to use is some of this extra moss that you guys know that I love from Walmart. I'm going to use about 8 blocks of this foam from the dollar store. I'm gonna use some raffia that you can also find at Walmart. I'm gonna use some pruners and some wire cutters, and those I always like to have right here by my hand. You can find some orchid foliage at Hobby Lobby. That's where I got mine. They are $8.99 and I got it at 50% off. There's these 2 types, but they're very similar. So we're gonna use 3, and then also we're gonna use some of these beautiful white orchids that are also from Hobby Lobby. And these were about $4, but they were also half off, so they're super affordable. So this is going to be a really affordable arrangement that you can create. And for that, I'm gonna show you that I have pre-foamed my container, and you guys know that I like to keep that foam also in the plastic, so that way when I'm done using it, it doesn't have everything going everywhere. And then also I'm gonna use one of these bamboo sticks, and you can find this at any local craft store. So I'm gonna get started, but first I'm going to kind of clean up real quick. I'm gonna put this to the side, all the way to the side, so we can get going. And the first thing I'm gonna need is this moss and this stick right here. So we're gonna get those going. I'm gonna put my foliages away because I don't need them right now. So I'm gonna put all this stuff over here. Probably you won't be able to see it. And I'm gonna leave my flowers here real quick. All right, so we're gonna decide that we're going to do a 2-bloom arrangement. And for that, I want it to be probably about this tall, because it's gonna be on top of the table, so it's gonna really make a statement. So grabbing your pruners, you might want to hold this guy right here and just give him a cut. And it really doesn't matter how you cut, because remember that that's gonna go down like this. It's super easy to cut. And I want, look, couldn't be better at that. So what you want to do is you want to give them an angle cut like that, so they're easier to insert on your foam. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab some of this beautiful moss, and I'm going to tuck it in right here on my container, making sure that I cover all of my mechanics, making sure that it's very tucked in. Super easy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull some of it out, because we're going to use it to tie some on the tops of the blooms. So I'm just going to take some of it off. You just want a really thin layer of this moss. So that's about good. All right, so perfect. So now all of our container is green, as you guys can see. And actually I like this look. If you had a set of 2 or 3 going down a table, I think it is super pretty. But for this occasion, we're going to do our orchids. So now the ones that I cut on an angle, I'm going to go down, and I'm going to put one right here, and I'm going to push down, and then I'm going to put the other one right here. And I want them to be about the same height, so right about here, both of them. So it's super easy. Like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to grab an orchid, and we're going to put it right here like that. I want one going up on one side, and I want the other one going the other way. And look how they kind of face each other. So I'm gonna go on this side right here. And you wanna do it right next to the bamboo stick, like this. Make sure that goes, remember, because that plastic is there. And you know what, it is easier, like I said, if you just grab your wire cutters and you cut those on an angle. Remember, that's what we did to the bamboo, and that's why it was so easy for it to go down like that. So we're gonna leave those like that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some other ones, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them this. Remember, when orchids grow, they kind of do that because the weight of the blooms kind of bends the stem. So I'm gonna give it a cut on an angle to this one right here, and then I'm going to insert right here, right about there. And so I'm gonna grab another one. I'm gonna do the same right here, just by grabbing this tip. I want to hang on to where I bend, and then I just do this right here. And white orchids, you guys, is one of my favorite flowers. And actually hydrangea, as you guys can probably see in the back, it's my favorite flower. But white, anything white, really, I love. I just think it's so elegant. So I'm gonna put one right there, and then I'm gonna do a third one. But on this occasion, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do one facing my way, and you'll get to see that in a minute. Like that. And then I'm gonna spin it around, and I'm gonna do the last one. Remember to do this kind of motion right here, and also remember to cut it on an angle on the bottom so it's easier to go on the foam. And so now I'm gonna make this one face my way, like this. So far, so good. Like this. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring my foliage, and I'm going to insert some of the foliage, one facing this way, like that. And then I'm gonna grab a second one, and I'm going to insert the other one. Remember, what happens on the left happens on the right. What goes up must come down. And I'm gonna grab this third one. I don't know that I'm gonna use the fourth one, but I for sure wanna use a third one, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it. Maybe about right there at an angle. Oh, make sure you get the Hobby Lobby price off. You don't want to see that. And I'm gonna insert this one right here in the middle of them both, going down like this. Look how pretty that is. All right, so now for the little details, and sorry if I lost you, if you cannot see me. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of this raffia, and this is inexpensive raffia that you can find at Walmart, Hobby Lobby, and I think even the dollar store carries some of this, but you have to be really careful not to untangle it, because if you untangle all of it, it goes everywhere. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my pruners right here, and I'm gonna tie this right here together and just kind of go around like this. And then you might want to make a little knot right here. And it's okay if you just leave them like that because it's a natural material, so it kind of makes it look natural, really. And I'm gonna do the other side real quick. And that's just going to ensure that our orchids are not gonna be moving around like this. And make sure that it's really tight and just go around and then tie a little knot right here. Because what we're going to do now, just leave it like that. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna pre-cut me a few more pieces of raffia, but see what I mean? Like if you just untangle it all together, it's gonna go everywhere. So I'm gonna cut that piece, and then let's see, I want to copyright all of them right here, and I'll pick and select from it. And you know what I'm going to do while I'm doing this? I'm gonna grab a little rubber band from my drawer, so that way, or even a wire, and just make sure that you go once around, so that way you keep your raffia like that. But that's gonna be good. So we're gonna use this right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of this moss that I have left over, and what I wanna do is kind of like a burrito. Not just because I'm Mexican, but, and what we're going to do is we're gonna go around right here like this, and we're gonna cover where that raffia was, and I'm gonna just leave it like that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another raffia and I'm going to go on top of that and secure it together. Kind of the same thing that we just did. But look how that just makes it look natural. And if you buy an arrangement of orchids at any florist, they're going to do this trick because it just gives it that organic look. And I'm going to just leave it messy like that because I like it like that. There is no need for perfection. So I'm going to grab another piece of this moss and kind of just twist it around to make a little burrito. And I'm gonna do the same thing right here. And you see how natural that looks, and it gives it a little bit of texture. And I'm gonna grab another piece of raffia, or maybe even two, the longest ones. And I'm going to tie this guy together right here, really tight. Just cross them around like this. And so now we're gonna tie a knot. Like so. Look how cute that is, you guys. And so now you can adjust your orchids to do anything that you want them to do. You know, like this one right here on the top, what I'm going to do is I'm going to secure it also so it doesn't move because I want it there. And so for this particular one, all you want to do is just do a knot and like that. And then you might want to cut the excess of that because we don't want it to look too hairy-mary, like we like to say in the industry. And for this one right here, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to tie it right here on one of the blooms so it doesn't move, and do a knot right there, and then you cut the excess of it. You guys, look how absolutely beautiful this floral arrangement of white orchids looks like right here in my living room. It really brings some height to my coffee table, and it just ties in with the rest of the console over here with all of the collection of the blue and white. As you guys can see, it is super easy to make, to put together, and the little details right here of all of the moss tied in with the raffia and all of the foliages on this stunning blue and white piece that I found at Home Goods. It really just adds so much elegance to any room. I had a blast sharing with you guys this compilation of spring DIY. I cannot wait to read your comments, so leave me a comment down below and let me know which out of all these projects was your favorite and what do you want to see coming up for the spring season 2024. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, and as always, you can watch more videos right now. Until next time, bye.